Let me share my screen. Today, we will be reading Murli of 28/11/1979. Title of the Murli is How to Remain Free While Living at Home with Your Family. Today, Babdada was saying a particularly special group of his long lost and now found children. Of his long lost and now found children. A handful out of multi-millions who know the Father and claim their inheritance from him. Which group would that be? Today, he was especially observing the children who live at home with their families. Today, Baba is talking to the children who live at home with their families. He also observed the homes of all the families. He looked at the places where they interact with one another. Whilst observing the homes, Baba also saw what influences there are of the impure elements and the adverse situations. Baba looked at the places where they interact with one another and observed their homes, and also saw what influences there are of the impure elements and the adverse situations, and what influences there are of the kingdoms. Whilst observing this, Baba also saw the wonders of some children. Of how they remain free while living at home with their families. Those who maintain a balance between their freedom and their family lives are playing very good and elevated parts. Baba is happy to see those children who maintain a balance between their freedom and their family lives, and they're playing very elevated parts. They play their parts of being the father's companion and detached observers very well, and have become practical examples in front of the world. Such two children play the part of father's companion and detached observers very well, and they have become practical examples in front of the world. Because they constantly stay under the canopy of protection, of remembrance of the Father, they remain constantly safe from any type of war by Maya and any type of Maya's attractions. By staying under the canopy of protection of remembrance of the Father, they remain constantly safe from any type of war by Maya and any type of Maya's attractions. When the Father sees such detached and unique children, he constantly sings songs of their praise. Baba also saw some other children who live at home with their families. Because the children have honest hearts, the Lord is always pleased. Because the children have honest hearts, the Lord is always pleased with them. Because they know the secret of remaining loving and detached. They are always happy with themselves and also keep their families happy. Why they remain happy? Because they know the secret of remaining loving and detached. And therefore, they are always happy with themselves and also they keep their families happy. Bap Dada too is always happy with them. Children who are Rajyug, that means who understand all secrets and who constantly keep themselves and everyone else happy, don't need to hire an advisor, Kazi. Children who are Rajyug and who constantly keep themselves and everyone else happy don't need to hire an advisor. In Hindi, we call it as Kazi, either for themselves or for others. They have no case for which they would need to have an advisor. Many times, you would have heard the saying, when the husband and wife are happy together, what can a third person do? In Hindi, we say that, Miya Bibi Razi, to kya karega Kazi. So, when the husband and wife are happy together, what can a third person do? You must have many cases of your own sanskars, where you keep on debating with yourself. Is this right or wrong? Should this happen or not? To what extent should this happen? This debate continues all the time. When you are not able to decide for yourself, you have to make someone else your advisor. For some, it would be for a small matter, whereas it would be a big thing for others. However, if you and the father were to make the decision together, everything would be finished within a second. And there would then be no need to have an advisor, a judge, or a lawyer. If you and the father were to make the decision together, then everything would be finished within a second. And then there would be no need to have an advisor, a judge, or a lawyer. One of the laws of a family is that when something happens in a family, the parents would not allow the news of it to reach their children. They would clear everything there and then and merge it. That is, they would accommodate it within themselves. उसमें समा लेते हैं. They don't allow it to pass it to the children. If the news of the situation reached a third person, it would definitely spread. And the more something spreads, the more it increases. To the extent that a physical fire spreads, accordingly, it causes that much damage. So, to the extent the news spreads, the more it increases, like the fire. As the physical fire spreads, it causes more damage. Similarly, when such news spreads, then it increases. All of these small matters are like fires of the different vices. All of these small matters are like fires of the different vices. A fire is extinguished there and there, and not allowed to spread. If in your family, only you and the father should know about anything that happens. This is very important line. In your family, only you and the father should know about anything that happens. It should not reach a third person, even though that one may be close or even in the family. It should not reach a third person, even though that one may be close and even in the family. Husband and wife should become happy with one another. To become upset, that means naraz, is like not knowing the secret, that is raz. जिनको सारे राज पता होते हैं वो कभी नाराज नहीं होते. So to become upset is like not knowing the secret. It is when you miss out on one or another secret of knowledge that you become upset, either with yourself or with others. So I was disconnected. In the world nowadays, all the big legal cases are printed in the newspapers. Here too, they appear in the newspapers of the Brahmin family. As in the world, the big legal cases are printed in the newspaper. So here also, such news appears in the newspaper of Brahmin family. Therefore, why don't you resolve it between yourselves? Between just you and the father. No third person should know anything of it. Some children have a thought that reaches Baba. They think that it's fine for husband and wife to settle everything. But sometimes, because the husband is incorporeal and the wife is corporeal, they don't match each other so well. What thought children have? That the husband is incorporeal and wife is corporeal. Husband is who? Baba, Shiv Baba. And wife is the soul. So they don't match each other so well. And this is why there is sometimes a meeting, and at other times there is not. Sometimes the heart-to-heart conversation reaches Baba, and sometimes it does not. That is, sometimes you don't receive any response. And this is why you have to have an advisor. Now, children are giving explanation that why they need an advisor to Baba, that because the husband is incorporeal and wife is corporeal, so they don't match, and sometimes they get they receive response, sometimes they don't receive response, and therefore they have to have an advisor. Now Baba is answering that question. However, you have found the husband who has many forms. Whatever form you want him to have, he can present himself in front of you in that form within a second. See, who is our husband? He is the one who has many forms, and he can take whatever form he wants, and he can present himself in front of us in within a second in that form. However, like the Father, you also have to be one with many forms. Bahurupi, like we call in Hindi. As the Father is Bahurupi, we also need to be in that form, Bahurupi. The Father can make you fly and take you with him to the subtle region within a second. The Father comes from the incorporeal world into the subtle world. And so you too can come from the corporeal world to the subtle world. As is our husband, similarly, we have to become like him. That the way he comes from subtle world, from incorporeal world into subtle world, we also have to go from corporeal world to the subtle world. At least reach the venue of the meeting. If we want to meet him, then at least we need to reach at the venue of the meeting. The venue also has to be beautiful. If you want to meet to the most beautiful authority in the world, then the venue also has to be beautiful. The subtle region, the angelic region, is the meeting place. What is the beautiful venue for the meeting? The subtle region, the angelic region, is the meeting place. The time for you is fixed. You have made the appointment. The venue is fixed. So then why does the meeting not take place? The only mistake you make is that you want to go there with the clay. Now Baba is answering that why we are not able to do meeting with the Father, even though the venue is fixed, time is fixed. So the answer for that is we want to go there with the clay. What is this clay? This body. This body is clay. When you have to work with your clay, then do so. However, at the time of the meeting, you have to renounce the consciousness of your body and put on the same dress as the Father's. At the time of the meeting, you have to renounce the consciousness of your body and put on the same dress as the Father's. They have to be the same. From being incorporeal, the Father adopts an angelic costume. Bapdada becomes the angelic and the incorporeal together. For meeting us children, Bapdada becomes angelic. Bapdada adopts an angelic costume and they incorporate together. You two have to put on your angelic dress and come here. As he is coming by wearing angelic costume to the venue, we also have to reach there by wearing our angelic dress. Only when you wear your shining dress will the meeting take place. Do you not know how to put on this dress? Now Baba is also explaining us how to put on this dress. As soon as you put on this dress, you can reach here. This dress is waterproof and fireproof against any form of Maya. You will not get such dress anywhere in the world. This dress is waterproof and fireproof against any form of Maya. It has also been made proof against the attitudes and vibrations of this old world. You have been given such a beautiful dress, and yet you don't put it on when you have your appointment. See how beautiful dress Baba has given us. This dress is waterproof and fireproof against any form of Maya, and also it has been made proof against the attitudes and vibration of this old world. We have such a beautiful dress and still we don't put on such dress when we have our appointment with partner. Do you love your old dress more? Baba is asking, do you love your old dress more? It looks very nice if both are wearing a shining dress when you are in the region of light. Visualize this scene that we are in the region of light, in subtle world, and we and Bapdada we both are wearing the same shining dress. If one is wearing an old dress and the other is wearing a shining dress, the couple is not matching. In the Lokic world also, they think so much about matching everything with each other. So here also Baba is telling us to match everything with Bapdada. And this is why you do not have an experience. Why we do not have an experience? Because we do not match with each other. The old vibrations interfere, and this is why you don't receive any response to your heart-to-heart conversation. It is because you are not able to understand clearly that you take some temporary support of others. How beautifully Baba explained that why we don't get any response sometimes. Because we lack this matching, and because we are not matching with our husband, we are not able to understand clearly what he is responding. And therefore, we need to take some temporary support of others. In fact, this relationship of husband and wife should be so close and loving that you would be able to understand everything just through signals. This relationship of husband and wife should be so close and loving that you would be able to understand everything just through signals. Even more subtle than signals. You should be able to understand one another through your thoughts. Not even by signals, but we should be able to understand one another through our thoughts. This is such a relationship of love. Then Why do you allow a third person to come between you? To allow a third person to interfere means to waste your time and energy. To allow a third person to interfere means to waste your time and energy. Yes, you can tell another person what your heart to heart conversation was like. You can cooperate with one another on this level and share your experiences with one another. But you must not have a heart to heart conversation with a third person, making that one your advisor. We can share with them what was our conversation with Bap Dada. We can cooperate with one another on this level. We can share our experiences with one another, but we don't have to have a heart to heart conversation with a third person. Doing so will waste our time and energy. Don't talk to one another as though you have a case. So, let go of the advisor and make up with one another and become happy. Since you have chosen your partner, why do you allow a third person to come between you? When you allow someone else to come between you, you end up in the middle of the ocean. Then your husband has to make the effort to save you. And this is why the task of world transformation is left out. Visualize this scene that when we end up in the when someone else comes between us and Bap Dada, then we end up in the middle of the ocean of the problems of this world. And then Baba has to make effort to save us. And in this, a lot of time and energy get wasted. And the task of world transformation is left out. Then you ask when destruction will take place. Since you wives are not yet ready, how can destruction take place? Do you now understand why destruction is not taking place? When you don't even know how to change your dress, how are you going to change the world? Baba is asking us that. When you don't even know how to change your dress, then how are you going to change the world? Acha. He will tell you about the condition of the householders some other time. Today, he spoke to you of your internal household. To those who are constantly Rasyu and Yuktiyu and who always have a close relationship. To those who are constantly happy and who keep others happy. To those who are constantly able to celebrate a meeting. To the children who are detached observers and the father's companions. Bap Dada's love, remembrance, and namaste. Love, remembrance, and namaste from we children to Bap Dada. Acha, Om Shanti. Rest of the part we will continue tomorrow. Now we will churn for a few minutes, then we can share our journeys. Om Shanti. Now we all can share our journals.
Om Shanti. So, very nice, Murli. So, Baba says the reason why we are not able to make or meet the Father. So, Baba says the Father comes from the incorporeal world, and then we go from the corporeal world, and we are not renouncing the consciousness of body. Baba says, clay, you want to go there with the clay and the body consciousness, and Baba is coming there, and though the time is fixed, the appointment when everything is fixed, but the meeting, um, doesn't take places because we are trying to take the body there we want to. So the meeting doesn't really take place, and very uh, lovingly, Baba explained about the dress. It's a waterproof dress, fireproof against Maya. So it's a good dress that we are getting. But yes, we are sometimes, under the influence of the clay, because of which we are unable to go to the settled region. Om Shanti. That's the takeaway from me. Yeah. So the more practice required here is to practice being uh, this angelic form, and then going after the body, and then meeting the Father in the settled region.
Very nice, Vidya. There are some sharings in the chat box. Girja sister has shared the grand meeting of Ashik and Mashu, unique love, love with an alien, incorporeal within a corporeal, Bap Dada, the celestial secret meeting, the venue, the dress, the meeting, and unique love story nobody would understand. So why speak up? Father Brahma is invoking you with open arms. Aao bachche, aao. Very nice, sister.
Saying in Hindi, Mia Bibi Razi to kya karega kazi, and that's exactly what Baba is mentioning today in the Murli. That if you and your companion, the father, knows what's happening, you don't need to have a third person to be aware of what's happening with you. You don't need an advisor for your situations, your problems. So how much, for me, the reflection is how much am I surrendered and giving up myself to my companion who is always available to me, that's the Supreme Father? Or do I fall back on the bodily beings for any support? Now, bodily beings can be a support as a limit from the Father, but am I being very authentic and sharing everything, all my feelings, my emotions with the Supreme Father? That's the practice for me to take from today's book.
Wonderful, sister. Baba said, whatever happens in your family, only you and Bab Dada should not reach to third person.
And then he gives an example here that even in Lokik family, mother and father accommodates everything that comes. Sama lete hain apne aap mein. They don't allow that to even reach to their children. And that
Right.
example, I'm sure each one of us have experienced with our parents. And those who are parents, they also know how they manage it. So the power of accommodation is also what Baba focused in today's Murli.
Right, sister. So Baba said, as the physical fire, when it increases, it causes more damage. So when any news spread, it also increases. So we don't have to spread it. Anyone else? What is the venue of the meeting?
Subtle world,
Right. And which dress we have to wear for doing a meeting?
angelic dress.
Right. In today's Murli, Baba has given some uh, specialities of that dress. What are those?
Waterproof, fireproof, and active against attitude and vibration.
Correct. When we become upset,
When we don't know the secret,
correct. जो राज जिन्हें सारे राज पता नहीं होते वही नाराज होते हैं. So when we understand all secrets, then we can remain constantly happy. What is the law of a family? That Baba mentioned in today's video.
Decision making together, is that
Decision making.
together?
We can say that, but the law which mentioned by Baba in today's movie is when something happens in a family, the parents would not allow the news of it to reach their children, as Rafi's sister shared sometime before. Why we are not able to receive response from Baba sometimes?
is it because we go to the subtle world with our clay?
Right. Because if father is in corporeal, then we also need to be in the same form as the father. Then only we can receive the response.
Yeah, this overall movie is about we renouncing the body consciousness from corporeal to in subtle region, right? That is coming from the incorporeal to the subtle region. How well we can have this meeting in the subtle region where Baba comes as an angel, and we also go there as an angel, and then we both meet there and then experience. If one, of course, we know that Baba will be in his full angelic form, whereas we children sometimes, it depends on the situation or whatever, we may not be wearing that dress. So when the couples don't match with a costume, then the meeting is not so experiential, right? We don't experience it. So here Baba is yeah, teaching us how to become, how to be a good wife, right? Who can fly out of this play and then have a wonderful meeting with the husband in the celebration.
Today, Baba was teaching us a language for communicating with him. What was that?
Thought, right? In the form of thoughts.
Correct. Now we have to communicate with him through our thoughts, not even by signals, not even through our signals. So, such a close relationship we have to establish with him. And what happens when a third person's interfere between us and Bab Dada?
So then we will waste um, the time and the energy.
Correct. When third person interferes, it wastes our time and energy. We can share our experiences with others, but we do not need to do heart-to-heart conversation with the third person. Then Baba also explained that why the destruction is not taking place. What is the reason for that?
He says his companion, his wives are not ready.
Correct. Baba also gave us the example that we are all busy in the waste thoughts, and when we end up in the middle of the ocean, then the Father has to make effort to save us, and because of this, the task of world transformation is left out. And this is the reason why the destruction is not taking place, because we are not ready for it. Anyone else would like to share? Okay, then let's reflect on today's Murli for 2 minutes. Then we can end our session. Om Shanti. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Divine Family. See you all tomorrow at 5 a.m. Till that time, don't allow any third person to interfere between you and Baba. Whatever happens, direct to Baba. Icha. Om Shanti.